exhibition, we explore the origins of cyberpunk films, as well as the global impact and lasting influence of cyberpunk and futurist films. As an extension of our exhibition, we collaborated with Magnopus to create a mixed reality experience in our lobby at the Academy Museum.
The idea of the experience is a window or an introduction to virtual production within the context of how you might imagine or create sci-fi movies of the future. In the case of dystopian worlds or environments that have to be created that don't exist, how do you do it? You're going to have to create it in some way.
How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
The idea of applying virtual production to creating that imagery is more about building your own world, a world inside the computer that you can actually make the film inside of.
So here we have the wireframe representation, or all of the geometry that makes up our virtual environment. This is supposed to showcase all of the underlying technology that goes into these virtual environments that feel very natural and feel very real. And this animates a way to reveal what we call a textured environment. And what goes into this is all the geometry that you just saw, we then overlay it with lots of textures, and that requires lots of talented artists to paint our environment and paint that geometry so that it feels and looks more real.
As environment artists, we had to make sure we were supporting the project and any 3D art needs. So modeling this neoclassical building. We got to use the interior of the Bradbury building and its door entrance because it was featured in Blade Runner. So I was able to get some of these different photos. I sort of modeled out like a rough interior. You could kind of see it's mostly just a cube inside, but from that angle, it sort of sells this illusion of more detail inside. When you go in, you could kind of see the illusion, But from back here where the viewer stands, it's pretty convincing. Standing here means that whatever is the closest to us, that's the most important, to get those really small, nice details. But the further down you look, it's less necessary.
Since we're creating these 3D spaces, we also wanted to create our actor as a 3D element within this 3D space. Rosa, as the virtual guide, is giving you an introduction to what virtual production is. And we wanted somebody that could sort of lead the audience through the process and touch on the different techniques that are available in virtual production. And so we photographed her on what's called the holocap stage. And there's two types of cameras that photograph her. There's a normal red, green, and blue color camera, which is a normal camera. And then there's also an infrared camera. And the infrared camera, it's capturing her shape. And the RGB color camera is capturing the picture, or in this case, the texture maps that then get applied to that shape. The idea is, how do we tell a story? And how do we tell it successfully using the tools that we have? And these tools hopefully make that process easier because you can play within this environment much more than you can on a real location.
World building as a topic is key for cyberpunk and futurist films. They are often created with digital virtual tools. And we thought, wow, wouldn't it be really cool to give our audience, our visitors, some kind of introduction into world building 101, if you will. We wanted to create immersive experiences. On the one hand, we see this in the exhibition through a projection mapped experience of cyberpunk and futurist films. And on the other hand, we wanted to explore an area that is immersive in itself, which is a mixed reality experience where you are immersed in another world.
The virtual production technology is the next thing that filmmakers are going to be using in the future to make movies. Being a part of a new technology is very exciting because you're steering it, you're guiding it in some way. Sometimes it's guiding you, but being a part of it makes you feel informed and it makes the job interesting.
After going through this mixed reality experience, please continue to the second floor and explore our exhibition, Cyberpunk: Envisioning Possible Futures Through Cinema.